Okay, we're recording now. So this is our, third meeting?
Yep.
For our social justice. Did everybody get a chance to look at the slides yet and make sure they're happy with the content, get their scripts in? How's everybody feeling about the slides?
Okay, so I did mine and I totally forgot to look at everyone else's.
It's okay.
So it looks good. And then I do agree with chapter 21 after I read it. It does. I like chapter 21. And then the only thing I think that we need to work on is finalizing the conclusion. I like that extra part that you put in, Jessica, on that bottom piece, because I started the Milstead, but I think we just need to definitely narrow it down what we want in it and change it, because I don't like it, because I think we're too blotchy.
Okay. I got all the formatting done today, and then I just want everybody to make sure they're happy with the formatting. I want us to make a decision on the conclusion. I have to still do the references. I had a couple of mine I still have to put on there, but I'm hoping our goal for tonight should be to get the conclusion finalized, get everybody's stamp of approval on the overall look and the wording of it, and then it has to be submitted tomorrow to the discussion board. I was just looking at the instructions, and I guess I didn't realize they all had to be up the first day of presentations, which is tomorrow. So I'll post our slides tomorrow once we get the conclusion and everything done, and then we'll do our presentation on Saturday at what time? I don't know. I gotta look at my calendar.
Is it 12 to 2?
Is it 12 to 2?
I think it is.
This is what's going to be a problem for me is I don't have internet at my old house anymore.
Can you do
so
Starbucks?
Where to go?
Starbucks you could go to?
Phone as a mobile hotspot?
Say that again?
Use your phone as a mobile hotspot?
I don't know. I've never tried. I don't know.
What service do you have?
I have Straight Talk.
I don't know.
If you look under settings, it should be able, like when you do your internet, it should tell you whether or not you have a hotspot that you can click on, and should give up a password.
Oh no, right now my phone's blowing up. Let's see.
The other option is, Catherine's going to be doing the speaking, so you can stay pretty much muted and present, but Panera's got free Wi-Fi, libraries have free Wi-Fi, McDonald's.
Okay, so yeah, I can do something like that.
And if it's raining, just stay in the car.
Yeah, I don't think you can stay in the car at the library at the one near my house. You can at the one near my daughter's, but not near mine. That's an hour away. Let me think. I'll find somewhere to go. I think that you can't do it at McDonald's outside. Where can I do it outside? That's a little bitty town. I'm trying to think. Just depends on what the weather's going to be, if they're going to be open, like will the library be open. I can go inside and try to get in one of those little rooms. I think they have little conference rooms that you can use.
Yeah.
I can try that.
Okay.
As soon as we're done with this, I'll probably have to head back home here so that I can be at that, or, somewhere down this way so that I can go to that shelter the next morning.
Okay.
The formatting looks great, by the way. I'm looking at it now.
Okay, here, yeah, I can put it up on my screen if anybody needs me to.
That'd be great.
My screen. No, one sec. Share.
All right. So who did, that was you. You said you had to do you have to format your Jessica.
Yeah.
What do you call it? References on the slides don't look like the rest of them. You know that, right?
Okay. Are you still trying to share?
Yeah, can you see mine?
Oh, there we go.
I can't.
I didn't move them. Oh, yeah. I didn't move them. I just have to write them and move them to the right spot.
Okay.
It looks so good.
It does. I like how it looks good together. I mean, like everyone had different fonts, and so I like how it looks good.
Catherine, have you had a chance to really pick through this and make sure you have what you need to do the presentation?
Yes, I have gone through, other than I know that Caroline finished up her part, because when I looked, I I didn't get a chance to look today, but I looked yesterday. Not all of had those two little tickies, but those are gone now. So, but yeah, it looks good.
Okay.
It looks good.
So it's got to be 25 minutes or less. So when you're practicing, that should be your goal, obviously. The conclusion, I guess we need to figure out like what we want on the slide, what we want said, what we want in what order, I guess. To me, the conclusion should be in a very similar to the actual presentation.
Yes.
And maybe have it all of the Milstead like work through.
Let me look at I've got the rubric right here too, or the instruction. Let's see.
I'm finishing the spelling as we go along. I fixed some things.
So analysis of the solution includes the following: cost and benefits the solution would incur, the policy changes from the Milstead process, and how would you approach developing and implementing this policy?
So could we do like the first slide being the conclusion, and then that second slide being the Milstead with the solution, talking about it, or?
Yeah, we could do that. Do we want to just call like the second? Well, that's my thing. I have a hard time putting anything after a conclusion.
I know, that's what's weird. Or do we want to do the
Milstead, then the conclusion?
Yeah, maybe that.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do we need to move and where, I guess? Because there's a lot of text on these slides, and we gotta figure that out.
On the second slide, when it talks about the first part, I kind of put in about the Milstead, about getting the passing the law. Because in Washington, they would already had stuff.
And did we do a Milstead on EPT or no? EPT? I don't guess we did. First.
No, but kind of like Angela did on Washington State for her presentation.
Yeah.
So she started it, but they already had stuff and didn't need to pass legislation.
Right.
So I'm going to change this to Milstead, this slide. But then what can we move off of this slide to? So right now we have 2 conclusion slides, so we'll have to get down to 1. So what on this slide, can you guys see my screen?
Okay, let's make this go away. And I'm really not on your screen, but I can see what you're doing, so you can probably see what I'm doing. Okay, so let's make this go away. We can probably leave the next one in because it is.
I can't see what you're doing. Which one are you?
I can see what you're doing, really?
Oh, I can see what you're doing now. I didn't know what slide you were on. That's why I couldn't see what you were doing.
Oh, okay.
Okay, now I can.
You can take the reinfection rate off. That's not that important, and it's already in a, we could take that off. But okay, so for my little part, we've got South Carolina's ranked 7th for chlamydia, 4th for gonorrhea, and over half the cases are in the African American community. I should say population. Say population. Oh, we don't put sentences. I don't know who put sentences. Maybe I did. We don't put sentences. These are not supposed to be sentences.
Well, and we could save the sentence in the bottom part, and Catherine could, verbalize it, but we just have the bullets for the slide.
Right. Like I like the slides really simple. So maybe I can't even remember, to be honest, the wording for every step of the Milstead process. Maybe those should be our bullet points here, and then all the wordage should be down in the comments area for Catherine to read.
I like that.
Yeah.
So okay, let's discuss this. Does anybody remember the headings for the Milstead?
Now I'm looking here.
I'll have to go back to my paper. I don't recall.
Oh, wrong class.
That's not the right thing. Policy. Policy analysis. All right. So it's pulling up. Maybe.
No, that's mine's.
Yeah, let me tell you what I did, but this is pulling up. I unplugged the modem. When I was unplugging everything downstairs, I unplugged the modem. I don't have the label. Oh no, I didn't put the label.
Let me Google this.
I can always go into Canvas and look
at her. That's how I'm looking at the module.
Okay.
Trying to
look at the instructions.
Okay, so here it's okay. Milstead is introduction, agenda setting, legislation, regulation, policy design, policy implementation.
Slow down. I can't type that fast.
But no, but I mean, does that sound like right to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
yes.
it.
Okay.
So intro, agenda setting, then what?
Legislation.
Uh-huh.
Regulation.
Uh-huh.
Policy design.
Uh-huh.
Policy implementation. And program evaluation.
Okay, so anything that applies to those topics, we should move down into the comments section here.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see.
Which I don't think it's any of those.
No, so I'm going to move this stuff over just to the conclusion so we can add it where we want to over there. Okay. So then I guess what do we need to put in the comments here for Catherine, guys?
So I think the introduction should be about, you know, the EPT is what we're trying to, so they know what we're talking about.
Oh, no, in my paper, she made me define EPT right there.
Mm-hmm.
Or somewhere in there. She said, you know, we have to know what it is. But you guys have done that, I think, already.
Right.
Okay.
I feel like the introduction can just be like very quick worded, like just quick saying EPT.
I have the script, our last thing, and it has it in there. Do you want me? Of course, I'm at the house and it's at the school, but in the morning I could easily put it in there. That, you know, so that we don't have to redefine, or we could just say expedited partner therapy is treatment of partners.
Okay. Intro.
I don't know.
Hey Caroline, I'm starting it.
Perfect.
In
Okay.
the comments, and then you can finish it.
Okay.
Okay.
And then agenda will be that we need to have our legislator bring it up at the next session. And then what legislation would be the law, we kind of, you know, use a similar law that all the other states do, or maybe a neighboring state.
Yeah, because South Carolina is one of the only two that do not have this, and the CDC does have some advice on policies.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then a legislator would have to propose it, and then it would have to be passed and signed into law, and then at the end we have to talk about how then the word has to get out to all the providers.
What about for regulation?
So since it's not yet a law, would we say that, regulation would be determined following establishment of the law, or would we go ahead and propose that, I don't know if that's the checks and balances.
But could we propose that the health department would be doing it?
That's what I was going to say. The Department of Health would oversee this program.
Yeah.
I love that, but
Especially since they track all the rates.
they do anyway. Yeah, oversee. Yeah.
Okay, and then policy design. Okay, what do we want to say about policy design?
I would
Following,
think still, the CDC recommendations and then
and guidelines.
neighboring.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then who would implement it? The providers, all the healthcare providers that are licensed to provide other policy things, other, therapy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then evaluation, she would say, how would you evaluate it?
Could you do by your stats?
We went over this in my thing. Let's look back at my paper. Does anyone have it printed out or anything?
I don't.
I closed it. All right, let me go back to my paper because she said, we had a long talk about this, and this is why I didn't choose South Carolina, because it was there wasn't anything done in it, and it would be too confusing. So, let me see how we did it. I think it was a questionnaire, because you're not going to know who's doing it and who's not. It could just be that not that many people are having sex and getting STDs. There could just be something weird. That's what she said. We talked about it, and I think that we determined the only way that could be done would be like a questionnaire. Application of Milstead framework. Let me look at the end. Oh, implementation was easy. We just had to get the word out to the healthcare providers via a policy statement.
Yeah.
So that's the implementation. God, where is it? State board notice.
I remember her saying too, with evaluation, you won't know right away. It's years from there. And can you really say that the data changes were from your policy, or could they be other, reasons?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Don't.
So in implementation, be sure to say that there was no funding necessary. I remember that was part of it. That was one of the questions, who's doing the funding.
Okay.
Okay, and yeah, I would say it'd have to be a questionnaire because you don't know who's prescribing it and who's not.
That sounds good.
I don't see where I put that, but I remember us talking about it for a long time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because she said just maybe that, people, they're just not having as much sex. You don't know what's called, what's doing it.
So, okay, so I think that slide looks good.
Yes, I like that.
I'm thinking we use the same format for our conclusion slide, but do like for our topics, social justice, epidemiology, solution. So just touch on each of those things that we already talked about and then have a broad conclusive statement. Do you guys like that?
Because I kind of like the one that you wrote.
All right, hang on. Let me adjust this.
I'm glad you're doing that. I could not figure out the formatting on those slides.
I'm weird. I love PowerPoint. I'm like,
yeah, you're weird.
I'm a PowerPoint nerd. Like I'm working on my storyboard right now, and I'm in heaven.
Oh no, I've got that undo going pretty good because every time I try to do something, it don't look right, so I'm undoing.
I'm in heaven. Epidemiology solutions. What do we call that? Invested parties. And then we'll just touch on those things and then have a conclusive statement.
Did that change
So-
slides? Or,
I duplicated a slide.
okay.
So you'll see extra slides as I'm like duplicating and moving. I just don't want to lose what we already wrote.
Okay.
Yeah. So Saturdays from 12 to 2?
Oh, will it take that long?
Yeah, because we have to listen to the other groups too.
Okay.
Yeah, oak, fir, and mahogany. I'm looking at the calendar, and I guess it's adjusted for my central time because mine says 11 to 1, but I bet it's because it moves.
Yeah,
up,
it's
you know.
adjusted for you
Okay.
because it's 12
I'm
to
really
2. Could I be on the phone if I needed to be?
I would think
Absolutely.
so.
Yeah.
Okay, because I know I can do. I know I can be on the phone.
Okay, so what, Catherine, were you saying that you liked?
Next, kind of a little bit of what you wrote down at the very last paragraph.
Okay.
The conclusion.
Yeah, like something about even though with this solution, something.
Oh, this last paragraph.
Uh,
Yeah, I like that.
So maybe make that
That's a
our
good
final
conclusion.
conclusive statement.
yeah, final statement.
Do we talk about? I'm looking at the rubric. It says, "How would you approach developing and implementing policy?" That's what we'll talk about in the Milstead, right?
Mhm.
Right.
I think so.
Right, because that is your Milstead process. How that you implement it. I mean, you can't really implement anything across the board unless you go ahead and have the support of the legislation, basically,
Okay.
of like a policy. Okay, let's see here. Did I get everything? Like this. Okay, so can everybody kind of see what I'm doing, how I'm putting the script down here for Catherine? Is this making sense?
Mhm. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I can't actually see it, but
It pops up and pops down.
Okay. Okay. So let's look at, if somebody else has those open, can you look at the stuff we've written for the conclusions thus far? And is there anything that would apply to a conclusive statement about the social justice aspect of this that we can use?
hang on just a
So,
second.
Like a summarization of the first two slides.
so you might say something that EPT in the African American population is a social justice issue because they are a vulnerable population. And understanding the context of the patient in, maybe we can go back to the, let me find this one. In the neighborhood and community.
I have a
In the context.
Caroline, did you write anything, because you did the social justice aspect, did you write anything on these conclusion slides that would maybe apply?
I don't think I added anything on the conclusion slide. I just wrote in the text box.
Okay, this South Carolina. Okay, okay. So you wrote this, South Carolina has high rates of sexually transmitted disease out of 50 states, ranks number 7. Is that you?
I think Angela wrote that, but I
I'm
like
sorry.
that.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so we'll move, I'm gonna just take that, you're fine. I'm taking that and moving that to our epidemiology group.
That is in the epidemiology.
Yeah.
It's already there.
No, I'm moving
Yeah,
it
yeah.
on our conclusions slide.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I put it in the notes at the bottom exactly what to say, word
Yeah.
for word.
Yeah,
I just cut.
we found it.
Okay. So
Okay.
I put that. Let's see. Achieving. I like this statement here of achieving health equity and limiting health disparities and all that. I like putting that as a kind of a starter sentence in the social justice part of our conclusion.
Okay.
I do too. Yeah.
You'll let your take away from your mom, and I'm gonna hold your child. If I had it six, I take from your mom, just go.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that, you know, live a while longer.
Okay.
My daughter and my son, my grandkid, you know.
I don't think this should be capitalized. Sorry, I'm a weirdo when it comes to this.
Dad, it's not really.
I don't think this is 2 words either.
Yeah, it's just hard to believe that I was a little grown up.
Here we go.
Okay.
On my second one,
I just want to say more there about it being a social justice issue.
after that, I didn't have to.
Can you pull something out of the top?
Maybe. Oh, I like this. We could just take this. The African American population is vulnerable due to disparities as a social issue because of socioeconomic disparities. I like this sentence.
Okay.
Add to it.
Here we go again. I think this is.
My computer's.
Caroline, on your first slide, I'm really weird about formatting. On your first slide, you have socioeconomic disparities. I think that's 1 word.
Okay, you can change it.
I can. It won't let me. I'm trying. I changed it on the other part, but I can't change it here. It won't let me for some reason.
Wait, hang on 1 sec. Let me finish what I'm doing. I'll fix it.
Okay.
Unless it was a presidential order signed.
Okay, before we go to that, Angela, let's focus on this. So on our conclusion slides for the social justice part, we put achieving health equity, eliminating health disparities, and improving the health of all Americans are overarching goals to improve and protect the nation's health. African American population is vulnerable due to STI disparities, and this makes it a social justice issue. Because of socioeconomic disparities, low-income housing, and decreased access to care.
That sounds great.
I really like the point in the beginning. I didn't hear you reiterate it, but I really like this part. It also involves the social obligation of treating people fairly. It's just like simple and to the point, and just treating everybody fairly. I really like that.
That came out of that caring
Caring for the vulnerable.
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't get that one. That was the
it was optional.
optional one. Yeah, I didn't get that. I bet it was good.
But I don't know if inclusion is wow.
I can't hear you.
Okay.
Is someone dying?
What?
Is someone dying?
No.
What's that noise? There's like so much noise.
I don't know. I hear like a man talking in the background.
Oh, it could be. Hang on. Let me holler in the other room.
Okay, that's better.
That's much better. But I heard all this clatter and I'm like, is someone dying? What happened?
It's my dogs.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. Come here.
I was like, dude, I know it's not here because mine are gone.
No, it's mine.
Hey guys,
In this big house. Weird.
please stay on track. So the social justice part on the conclusion, slide. I've put the information in there, but somebody needs to go in and format it so it reads a little bit better. Catherine, that might be a good task for you since you're going to be reading. The epidemiology is done. Solutions we can pull in from where?
You had one simple statement that just, had all of it in it. I really liked that. It was like just one sentence or two.
Let's see. Well, we took part of what I wrote and put it down in the final conclusion. But I feel like it could be moved to solutions. The different, less conventional approaches, such as school education, blah, 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 effective at combating STIs.
That and like passing EPT.
Yeah, let me move this to solutions. Who's like, Angela, you're on the slide, so you can see what I've put in the comments, right?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. And then back on, before we lose track, so which slide of Caroline's were you saying needed an edit?
It was that one that you're just on. So shit, right there. I think that's one word.
Why won't it let me go on it? What the
I don't know. It wouldn't let me go on it either.
I was on it earlier. That's weird.
That is weird.
It's weird. Yeah, I couldn't. I kept clicking on it. It wouldn't let me.
Okay.
But I could in other places, so I don't know.
Okay. Let's see. There's got to be a reason. Okay. We're talking about the socioeconomic disparities part right here, right?
Yep.
You want that one word and disparities capitalized, or what are you thinking?
No, just socioeconomic needs to be one word.
Yeah.
Because you always highlight, not highlight, you always capitalize the first word on a bullet point. So that's why, that's fine. But it's not a proper name, so it wouldn't both be capitalized.
That's so weird because I formatted it so it was usable at some point. I can always export it into PowerPoint and then fix it and re-import it.
It's not that big of a deal, but it's really not. I doubt that it would have even seen, but.
Okay, so we're almost done with our conclusion slide. Invested parties.
Do you just want a blank statement about, African American communities, healthcare providers, government policy, and taxpayers?
Can you speak up? I couldn't hear that.
Just like a blank statement about African American communities, our healthcare providers, government policy, and taxpayers.
Yes. American communities, providers, taxpayers, all.
And then policy.
So maybe say African American communities, providers, taxpayers all assume responsibility for tackling this issue.
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds good. Oh, good Lord.
Okay.
Oh, my name's spelled wrong. I'm sorry. There I am jumping in again. I'll fix it.
Where's your name spelled wrong?
On the first one. I just opened the things again. SEIGLER. Okay. It's all good. It's fixed.
Fixed. Okay, the last thing we need to do is sort of our blanket statement. So Now all it says is even with a preponderance of solutions, STI rates continue to climb in disparaged populations such as African Americans. Let's see. Any thoughts on what we could add to make that a more robust end?
Tell me where you were at.
I'm on the conclusion slide under the very last conclusion, the very last thing we're going to say before we sign off. So it needs to be a stronger statement.
Like we're talking about slide 13, right?
So when you said when you read it, I call it such as African Americans. That's who we're focusing on. Should we say such as? Because we may be introducing new information. And she'll get us for that.
That's right. That's fine. Continue to climb in the African American population.
Because I know she says she'll get you for putting in new information. So if we say that's kind of like these people that we've been talking about the whole time, she may not like that. All right.
We removed it. We just need to figure out how to wrap it up.
So in the beginning,
go ahead.
The Caring for the Vulnerable book talks about societal fairness, and it also talks about, like Nightingale and how she, she didn't use the word social justice, but she certainly embodied it. So could we say something
maybe in
as
the
student nurse, something
yeah, in the spirit.
Florence Nightingale, it is imperative that providers, especially those in the nursing community,
Community
commit to
socially just practices.
Yes. Okay, so we say, even with the preponderance of solutions, STI rates continue to climb in the African American population. In the spirit of Florence Nightingale, it is imperative that providers, especially those in the nursing community, commit to social just practices. Just social practices? Social justice.
Look, socially just practice.
There. Like, that doesn't sound right.
I love it.
Okay, I think it's good.
Okay.
Are we all happy?
I like
yes. It. Yes, I'm happy now.
There it is, Nightingale. I couldn't figure out how to spell it. Nightingale.
Okay. I will fix the socioeconomic part on Caroline's first slide, and I will get the references done tonight. Sorry, hang on one sec. My 5-year-old's trying to. Are we done? Okay. Oh, they gave me the dog. So I will get the references done tonight also. And then everything should be ready for us to.
Do you have Elstead in the morning?
What was that?
Would you like me to do them?
Yeah, you can. When I post up on the discussion board, I don't know. I guess I don't know whether to post it with our comments or not. What do you guys think?
These comments, like what we're going to read out loud?
Yeah, because that's my thing is, why does she have us posting these for people to look through if they don't know the content, to like the extensiveness of the content we're discussing? You get what I'm saying?
Although, yeah, it would be more trouble to take it off, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind taking it off. I just feel like, are we doing
I think you should leave it.
an injustice to our fellow students by not leaving it?
Yeah,
I
I
say,
hope we'll leave there.
Yeah, go ahead and leave it because it wouldn't be worth the trouble to take it off and possibly lose it.
Okay.
And then they can read it if they want to.
Okay. So references, fix that one slide, and we're all good, and I can post it tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Yay!
other than, and then you're gonna add that Milstead little, were you gonna write that?
Yeah. Hey,
Definition?
Caroline, will you email
Yeah.
me when you do it? It just says that we have to post. Let's see what the exact wording of the assignment is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's tomorrow.
Tomorrow's the
As a
first
time.
presentation. Solution to peer review. Where does it say when we have to post?
Does it say 5 p.m.?
It says.
I just have by
slides.
11:59 p.m.
So slides of all presentations are due by the day of live presentations. So due by the first day. So does that mean it's due tonight or does that mean it's due tomorrow?
It's on the calendar for tomorrow.
Yeah, at 11:59 p.m.
Oh, perfect. I didn't even look at that. I just saw the presentations. Wait, where do you guys see it on the calendar for 11:59 p.m. tomorrow?
Like on the upcoming assignments, if you click on it.
Oh,
see
okay.
it.
I was looking on the actual calendar.
Oh, sorry.
It's not on the actual calendar. Okay.
So I'll be able to have it in by like 9 a.m.
That's fine. I teach during the midday tomorrow, so I'll probably put it in the middle of the afternoon since we now know it doesn't need to be until 11:59.
Sounds
Cool.
great.
Mhm.
Okay, and then we're virtually done except for the presentation. I'm so happy, guys. Yay.
Yay. And then we have to do what? Comment on people by when?
By the end, I think.
I don't even know when that is anymore.
I'm doing both my comments on Saturday. We're doing our presentation. I'm being done with my class on Saturday. Done with the class, doing it.
Yeah,